Ladies and gentlemen, as we step into this new season of 2025, I want to challenge you to rethink how you engage with the world around you. For far too long, many of us have mistaken kindness for weakness and humility for passivity. We have allowed ourselves to be used, undervalued, and overlooked because we fear upsetting others or breaking social norms. But I'm here to tell you today, stop being too nice. Being too nice is not a virtue, it is a distortion of your true identity. You were created with purpose, with a mission, and with the authority to influence the world. But if you continually bow to the expectations of others, you will never rise to the standard of greatness that has been placed within you. There's a difference between being kind and being a doormat. Kindness is strength under control. It is deliberate and strategic. But niceness without boundaries is simply self-sabotage. You must understand this truth. People will only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. If you permit disrespect, you invite more of it. If you sacrifice your principles to please others, you lose the foundation of who you are. Let me remind you, you were not placed on this earth to appease everyone. You were placed here to fulfill a purpose, to carry out a vision, to make an impact, and that requires courage, not compromise. This year, I want you to redefine what it means to be nice. Nice doesn't mean letting people cross your boundaries. Nice doesn't mean saying yes when you mean no. Nice doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or abuse. Being nice in 2025 means being firm, being clear, and being unapologetically focused on your God-given purpose. Kindness is one of the most powerful attributes you can possess. It is a reflection of strength, compassion, and a heart that seeks to uplift others. But kindness, when misunderstood or misapplied, can easily turn into a weakness. Niceness without boundaries is not kindness, it is self-sabotage. It is giving away your power in exchange for approval, and it's time to recognize the difference. When you are truly kind, your actions come from a place of strength, not insecurity. Kindness is deliberate. It is intentional. It is the ability to show love, grace, and respect without losing yourself in the process. Niceness, on the other hand, often stems from a fear of conflict or rejection. It seeks to avoid tension at all costs, even if it means compromising your values or your well-being. That kind of behavior doesn't help others, and it certainly doesn't help you. In this world, there are those who will take advantage of anyone who doesn't have clear boundaries. If you are constantly trying to be agreeable and accommodating, you may find yourself being treated as a convenience rather than as a person of value. You were not created to be a people pleaser. You were created to stand firm in your purpose, to live with clarity, and to interact with others from a place of mutual respect. True kindness sets boundaries because it understands its own worth. It says, I value you, but I also value myself. It is not afraid to say no when necessary, to walk away from toxic situations, or to hold people accountable. Being kind does not mean being passive. It does not mean tolerating disrespect or allowing others to dictate your life. In fact, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and others is to establish and enforce boundaries. Some people will test those boundaries. They may call you selfish or unkind because they are no longer benefiting from your lack of limits. Let them think what they will. Your value is not determined by their opinions. Your worth is inherent, and it is not up for debate. When you operate from a place of true kindness, you recognize that your time, energy, and resources are precious. You choose to invest them wisely, not recklessly. Kindness also recognizes that enabling others is not love, it is harm disguised as help. When you allow people to take advantage of you, you reinforce their unhealthy patterns. You teach them that it is acceptable to demand without giving, to receive without gratitude, and to take without consideration. True kindness challenges others to rise to their best selves. It does not enable laziness, entitlement, or selfishness. There is a quiet confidence that comes with being kind yet firm. When you know your worth, you no longer feel the need to bend over backward to gain approval. You no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as humor or affection. You no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Instead, you stand tall, secure in the knowledge that you can be both kind and strong, both loving and firm. Niceness without boundaries, however, depletes you. It leaves you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and even resentful. You begin to wonder why others don't treat you with the same consideration you give them. But the truth is, people often mirror the standards we set for ourselves. If you don't respect your own boundaries, why would others? If you don't value your time, why would they? This year, I want you to shift your mindset. Stop thinking that being overly accommodating makes you a good person. It doesn't. It makes you a person who is neglecting their own needs. Start seeing kindness as an act of strength, one that requires clarity, courage, and self-respect. True kindness inspires respect because it comes from a place of integrity. When you are kind, you don't avoid hard conversations. You have them with grace and empathy. When you are kind, you don't say yes to everything. You say yes to what aligns with your values and no to what doesn't. When you are kind, you don't allow fear of rejection to silence you. You speak up with wisdom and confidence. Kindness is not weak. It is not passive. It is not blind. Kindness is bold. It is strong. It is intentional. And when you practice true kindness, you empower yourself and everyone around you. So as you step into 2025, I urge you, let your kindness flow from strength, not insecurity. Set your boundaries, honor your values, respect yourself, and teach others to do the same. People will always treat you in the way you allow them to treat you. This is a reality we often overlook or ignore because it places the responsibility back in our hands. But the truth is, how others interact with you is often a reflection of the standards you set for yourself. If you accept disrespect, you invite more of it. If you let others undermine your boundaries, you send a message that your limits are negotiable. If you undervalue your own worth, you give others permission to do the same. We teach people how to treat us not through our words, but through our actions. When you consistently prioritize others at the expense of yourself, when you tolerate behaviors that make you uncomfortable, when you shrink yourself to avoid conflict, you are silently telling others that it's okay to disregard you. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness, because once you understand the power you hold in shaping your relationships, you can begin to reclaim that power and redefine how people treat you. You see, respect is not something you can demand from others without first demanding it from yourself. It starts with knowing your worth, valuing your time, and refusing to compromise your boundaries. If you don't respect yourself, others will follow suit. They will mirror the standard you have set. And if that standard is low, they will treat you accordingly. Think about the times when you allowed someone to take advantage of your kindness. Maybe it was a friend who constantly asked for favors without reciprocating, or a colleague who offloaded their responsibilities onto you because they knew you wouldn't say no. Perhaps it was a family member who dismissed your feelings or a partner who ignored your needs. In each of these situations, there was a moment when you could have spoken up, but instead, you chose to remain silent. Why? Because you were afraid of confrontation, afraid of losing the relationship, afraid of being seen as difficult or unkind. But let me ask you, what did that silence cost you? Did it cost you your peace? Your confidence? Your sense of self-worth? Was the price of avoiding conflict worth the toll it took on your emotional and mental well-being? These are hard questions, but they are necessary ones. Because until you confront the ways in which you've allowed others to mistreat you, you cannot begin to change the narrative. Setting boundaries is not about being rude or unkind, it's about being clear and firm. It's about communicating your needs and expectations in a way that honors both yourself and others. It's saying, I value you, but I also value myself. And the people who truly care about you will respect those boundaries. They may not like them at first, especially if they've benefited from your lack of limits in the past, but they will respect them. There is a misconception that setting boundaries will push people away. But the truth is, the right people will stay and the wrong people will leave. And that's not a loss, it's a gain. Because your life should be filled with relationships that uplift, support, and respect you, not ones that drain, diminish, or devalue you. Some people will test your boundaries. They will try to guilt you, manipulate you, or make you feel selfish for standing your ground. But their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, your time, and your energy. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give your best to the world if you are constantly depleted by those who take without giving. It's also important to understand that setting boundaries is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process. People will push against your limits, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes deliberately. It's up to you to remain consistent. Consistency is key because it reinforces the message that your boundaries are not optional. This year, I want you to take a stand for yourself. Evaluate your relationships. Identify where you've allowed others to cross the line. And most importantly, commit to doing better not for anyone else, but for yourself. You deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, but that starts with how you treat yourself. When you set clear boundaries and enforce them, you are not only protecting yourself, you are also teaching others how to value you. You are showing them that you are not afraid to stand up for what you need and deserve. And in doing so, you create space for healthier, more balanced relationships. People will treat you how you allow them to treat you. So this year, refuse to settle for anything less than respect. Refuse to tolerate behaviors that drain you. Refuse to compromise your peace for the sake of others' comfort. Stop apologizing for setting boundaries and prioritizing your purpose. This is one of the most liberating decisions you can make in your life, and yet for so many, it feels like the hardest. We live in a world that often confuses self-respect with selfishness, where putting your needs first is seen as a betrayal of others. But let me remind you, you cannot fulfill your purpose or live the life you were created for if you are constantly apologizing for taking care of yourself. Apologies have their place, but not when they undermine your worth. Many of us have developed the habit of apologizing for everything, apologizing for saying no, apologizing for needing space, apologizing for asking for help, even apologizing for existing. But every unnecessary apology chips away at your confidence, your clarity, and your sense of direction. It conditions you to believe that your needs are secondary, that your voice is less important, and that your purpose is negotiable. It's time to break free from that mindset. When you set boundaries, you are not being unkind, you are being responsible. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they are about creating the space you need to thrive. They're about protecting your time, your energy, and your mental health so that you can give the best of yourself to what truly matters. And let me tell you, the people who care about you, truly care about you, will understand that. They will appreciate your honesty and respect your limits because they know your value. But not everyone will respond this way, and that's okay. There will be people who challenge your boundaries, who try to guilt you into saying yes when you mean no. They might call you selfish or accuse you of changing, and in a way, they'd be right, you are changing. You're changing for the better, for the stronger, for the more intentional. And their discomfort with your growth is not your responsibility. You see, setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to yourself. Yes to your dreams. Yes to your health. Yes to your purpose. And when you make those yeses a priority, you begin to see your life transform. You start to notice that the things you once struggled to accomplish become easier because you are no longer weighed down by unnecessary obligations. You find more clarity because your energy is no longer scattered across tasks and relationships that do not align with your goals. Prioritizing your purpose means acknowledging that your time is limited. Every yes you give to something unimportant is a no to something essential. Think about that. How much of your life have you spent saying yes to things that didn't serve you? How many opportunities have you missed because you were too busy apologizing for pursuing what you wanted? It's time to change that. When you focus on your purpose, you realize that you cannot afford to waste your life trying to please everyone. Pleasing people is a temporary fix. Purpose is eternal. The applause of others will fade, but the fulfillment that comes from living with intention will sustain you. And here's the truth. The people who matter, the ones who truly love you, will be inspired by your courage to prioritize your purpose. They may not understand it at first, but they will see the strength it takes to stand firm in who you are, and they will respect it. But you must first respect yourself. Stop apologizing for needing time to rest. Stop apologizing for pursuing your goals. Stop apologizing for protecting your peace. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to fulfill a specific purpose, and that purpose is too important to be compromised. This year, I challenge you to stop apologizing for the decisions you make in alignment with your purpose. When you set boundaries, do so unapologetically. When you say no, say it with confidence. And when you choose yourself, choose without hesitation. You do not owe anyone an explanation for prioritizing your well-being and your goals. Your life is a gift, and it is your responsibility to steward it wisely. Some people will not like the changes you make, but that's okay. You don't need their approval. What you need is the courage to move forward, the clarity to stay on course, and the determination to see your vision through. Every step you take toward your purpose is a step toward the life you were meant to live. You stop apologizing for setting boundaries and prioritizing your purpose. This is your year to reclaim your time, your energy, and your focus. This is your year to say yes to what matters most. Saying yes to everyone else's agenda delays your own destiny. This is a truth that many of us struggle to accept because we have been conditioned to believe that being helpful and agreeable is a sign of goodness. We have been taught that putting others first is noble, even when it comes at the expense of our own goals and dreams. But the reality is this: every time you say yes to someone else's plans or priorities without thinking, you are putting your own destiny on hold. Let's be clear, helping others is not wrong. Supporting those you care about is a good thing. But when your life becomes so consumed by saying yes to others that you have no time, energy, or focus left for your own purpose, it's time to reevaluate. You were not created to live someone else's dream. You were not placed on this earth to fulfill everyone else's expectations at the cost of your own. Some of us have been so busy running around saying yes to everything that we've lost sight of what we're supposed to be doing. We've allowed the demands of others to distract us from the unique vision that was placed in our hearts. And then we wonder why we feel stuck, why we're not making progress, why we're overwhelmed and exhausted. It's because we've been pouring our time and energy into things that don't align with our calling. When you say yes to everything, you spread yourself too thin. You cannot give your best to anything if you are trying to be everything to everyone. Your focus becomes divided, your energy drained, and your effectiveness diminished. And in the process, your own dreams and goals get pushed further and further down the list of priorities until they are all but forgotten. Some of you are carrying dreams that have been sitting on the shelf for years because you've been too busy attending to everyone else's needs. You've said yes to things that don't even excite you, things that don't honor your gifts, and things that don't bring you closer to your purpose, all because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. But let me ask you, what about disappointing yourself? What about the regret you'll feel years from now when you look back and realize how much time you gave away to things that didn't matter? Saying no is not selfish. It is wise. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you are saying yes to your destiny. Every time you protect your time and energy, you are investing in the future you were meant to create. And here's the thing, the people who truly care about you will understand. They may not like it at first, but they will respect your decision to prioritize what matters most. But there's something else you need to understand. Not everyone in your life is meant to support your purpose. And some people are only there to distract you. Some people are comfortable with you staying where you are because it benefits them. And the moment you start saying no, the moment you start focusing on your own path, they will resist. They will try to guilt you, manipulate you, or accuse you of being ungrateful or selfish. Let them. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your vision and stay true to your calling. This year, I want you to practice saying no without guilt. No to distractions. No to obligations that drain you. No to relationships that pull you away from your purpose. Every no is a yes to something greater. When you say no to the things that don't matter, you create space for the things that do. And don't think that saying no means you are cutting people out of your life or refusing to help them. It simply means you are being intentional. It means you are choosing to prioritize what aligns with your purpose and what brings value to your life. You cannot give your best to others if you are not living in alignment with your own calling. Saying yes to everyone else is not noble if it means neglecting the gifts you were given to share with the world. You have something unique to offer, something no one else can bring. But if you keep allowing others to dictate how you spend your time and energy, you will never have the chance to fully develop those gifts. This is your year to refocus. Your year to stop saying yes out of obligation or fear of disappointing others. Your year to start saying yes to the dreams, the goals, and the vision that have been waiting for your full attention. Redefine nice as being firm, clear, and intentional. For too long, we've equated being nice with being overly accommodating, endlessly agreeable, and constantly sacrificing us to make others happy. We've been taught that being nice means avoiding conflict, never saying no, and putting everyone else's needs ahead of our own. But let me tell you something, that's not kindness, that's not strength. And it's certainly not a recipe for fulfilling your purpose. True kindness, true niceness is rooted in strength, not weakness. It's about being firm in your values, clear in your communication, and intentional in your actions. It's about treating others with respect while refusing to compromise your own self-respect in the process. There is nothing noble about abandoning your boundaries, and there is nothing virtuous about saying yes to everything simply because you're afraid of disappointing someone. Think about how often we use the word nice as a mask for fear or insecurity. We stay silent when we should speak up because we want to be seen as nice. We agree to things we don't want to do because we want others to like us. We avoid addressing problems because we don't want to upset anyone. But what does that really accomplish? It creates a false sense of peace while eroding our confidence, our clarity, and our sense of purpose. Being firm doesn't mean being harsh or rude. It means standing your ground with grace and conviction. It means knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone treat you as less than you deserve. People respect those who respect themselves. When you are firm, you teach others how to treat you. You set the standard for what is acceptable and what is not. And you create a foundation of mutual respect in your relationships. Clarity is another critical aspect of redefining nice. You cannot expect others to understand your needs or respect your boundaries if you are unclear about them yourself. How many times have you felt frustrated because someone crossed a line you never communicated? Or disappointed because someone didn't meet an expectation you never expressed? Clarity is not just about being honest with others, it's about being honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you need? What are you willing to tolerate? And what are you not? When you gain clarity on these things, you can communicate them with confidence and authenticity. Intentionality ties it all together. When you are intentional, you are deliberate about how you spend your time, your energy, and your attention. You don't say yes out of guilt or obligation. You say yes because it aligns with your values and your purpose. You don't agree to something just to avoid conflict. You agree because it's the right thing to do. And when you say no, you do so with respect and confidence, knowing that every no to something unimportant is a yes to something that truly matters. There will always be people who try to take advantage of your kindness. They'll push against your boundaries, test your limits, and expect you to prioritize their needs over your own. But redefining nice means you no longer allow that. It means you are willing to have hard conversations, to hold others accountable, and to walk away from relationships that don't respect your worth. Redefining nice also means letting go of the need for constant approval. Not everyone will like the new, stronger version of you, and that's okay. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself and the purpose you were created to fulfill. You cannot waste your life trying to please everyone because no matter how nice you are, there will always be someone who disapproves. So why not live authentically? Why not prioritize your peace, your goals, and your vision? True niceness, the kind that comes from strength, will attract the right people into your life. It will create relationships built on respect, trust, and mutual understanding. It will allow you to give freely without feeling used, to help others without depleting yourself, and to love deeply without losing yourself in the process. This year, redefine what it means to be nice. Let it mean being firm in your boundaries, clear in your communication, and intentional in your actions. Let it mean being kind without being a pushover, generous without being taken for granted, and loving without compromising your values. You cannot carry everyone into your future. This is a lesson many of us struggle with because it goes against everything we've been taught about loyalty in relationships. We believe that holding on to everyone, no matter the cost, is a sign of love, faithfulness, and commitment. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Not everyone is equipped to handle the vision you've been given, and not everyone will support the growth you are destined for. Let's be honest, some relationships were only meant for a season. They came into your life to teach you something, to challenge you, or to help you get to a certain point. But just because someone was helpful in one season doesn't mean they are meant to walk with you into the next. Holding on to people out of guilt, fear, or obligation can weigh you down and delay your progress. Some of us are carrying relationships that are draining us. We're holding on to people who don't value our time, respect our boundaries, or support our goals. And yet, we keep them around because we're afraid of what will happen if we let go. Will they be upset? Will they accuse us of changing? Will they misunderstand our intentions? These fears keep us stuck in unhealthy patterns. But here's the truth: your future cannot wait for you to accommodate everyone else's feelings. When you hold on to people who no longer align with your purpose, you are making a trade. You are trading your progress for their comfort. You are trading your growth for their approval. You are trading your destiny for their expectations. Is that a trade you're willing to make? Is that a price you're willing to pay? Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving people. It doesn't mean you wish them harm or forget the role they played in your life. It simply means you recognize that their season in your life has ended. It means you honor the lessons you learned from them while freeing yourself to move forward. Think of your life like a journey. Every step you take brings you closer to your destination. But if you're carrying unnecessary baggage, the journey becomes harder. The weight slows you down. It drains your energy and makes it difficult to focus on where you're going. Some of the people in your life are like that baggage. They may not be bad people, but their presence in your life is no longer serving you. And let me tell you, not everyone will understand your decision to move forward without them. Some people will resist. They'll accuse you of being selfish or ungrateful. They'll try to guilt you into staying where you are because it benefits them. But their reaction is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to your purpose, your calling, and the vision that has been placed in your heart. There's a reason airplanes have weight limits. Too much weight makes it impossible for the plane to take off. In the same way, you cannot elevate to the next level in your life if you are carrying the weight of unnecessary relationships. Some people were meant to be part of your past, not your future. And that's okay. Not everyone is supposed to understand your journey because it wasn't meant for them, it was meant for you. Letting go is not easy, especially when it involves people you care about. But it is necessary. It is an act of faith and trust that what lies ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. And let me remind you, letting go doesn't mean closing your heart. It means creating space for the relationships and opportunities that align with your purpose. As you move forward, surround yourself with people who encourage you, challenge you, and believe in you. Build relationships with those who respect your boundaries, support your growth, and celebrate your success. These are the people who will walk with you into your future, not because they have to, but because they choose to. You cannot carry everyone into your future, but you can carry the lessons they taught you. You can honor the role they played in your life while releasing them to walk their own path. And you can move forward with confidence, knowing that you are making room for what truly matters. This is your year to release the weight, to let go of what no longer serves you, and to step boldly into the future that awaits you. As you step into 2025, remember this: your life is a gift, and your purpose is too significant to be compromised by fear, guilt, or distractions. Redefine what it means to be kind, set firm boundaries, say no to what doesn't align, and release the weight of relationships and obligations that no longer serve you. This is your year to live intentionally, unapologetically, and with unwavering focus on the vision placed in your heart. You don't need to explain your growth or apologize for prioritizing your purpose. The people who truly care will respect you for it, and the path ahead will become clearer and more rewarding as you align with what truly matters. Be bold, stay grounded, and walk confidently into the future you are destined for. Good luck on this transformative journey, and thank you for allowing these words to inspire and encourage you. May this year bring you clarity, strength, and the courage to live fully in your purpose. God bless you.